We say we live by the sea. Black tides loom to be, as if the sea should part and show a further sea. But lands beyond are far and free, and we are stuck with tragedy. The poem reads, a poem by acclaimed Old Farron poet, Arsonist. On the surface, nothing but words. Upon study, maybe a warning. In reality, words that were smuggled across the flare to be held within the fourth Pharos for safekeeping. The book they are enclosed within sits on a shelf in the office of the conservator herself. It waits. It's patient. It watches. It learns. It writes. In this office, interesting things occur. A book on a shelf does not grow bored here. Naomi Malik spends the late afternoon at her desk, slicing open envelopes and reading letters, access requests, new intake forms, as she is wont to do at this time of day. The sound of shuffling papers and scribbling pen is the usual sound of the interior. Lit by a desk lamp and wall lights, there's always a tint of green added to the warm yellow. The wall behind her, opaque colored glass that only lets in the barest hint of the flare. The green explained. There's a quiet knock on the closed wooden door. Naomi's eyes flick over to the book. Not to the book, to the shelf the book's located on, where a small pendulum clock also sits, ticking away the minutes of the day. A scheduled meeting, but 3 minutes early. She sighs, puts down her pen, adjusts the glasses that sit on the bridge of her nose, and says, "You may enter." A click as the handle's turned, and Lightkeeper Bezco appears around the door, closing it swiftly behind her as if trying not to be seen. The scars on her neck, more vibrant than usual. Naomi chanced a glance at the bleed detector sitting on the corner of her desk. But there was no change in atmosphere. Something else then, or a prior cause that had yet to dissipate. Lightkeeper Bezco stands near the door, hands folded in front of her. "You may sit, Kuali," Naomi says, pointing at the chair across from the desk. This was an odd one. Her most recent assignment, Naomi had heard, was related to a thorn in the side of many Lightkeepers, and Kuali was a desperate second choice to organize a circle that was already forming. The so-called Thorn, and one of the members of the Circle of the Broken Cage, had pulled most of this group together himself, and when the time came to step up and be a Lightkeeper, he very calmly and stoically turned it down, leaving Candela to scramble to fill the position. Naomi herself didn't mind the individual when they were asking questions about her specialties. She mostly ignored any suggestion at his very well-known desired end. It wasn't something she could grant. Kuali sits, placing a case by her feet. "I believe there has been a mistake." Naomi eyes the case. "They seem to have been successful." "Messily. But that is not what I refer to." Naomi sucks her teeth and leans back in her chair. Kuali continues. "I believe they made a mistake in appointing me the Lightkeeper for this circle." Naomi steeples her fingers. "That is not my purview." "But you are connected to those whose purview it is." "And what would you have me do? Call for disbanding? It's a bit hasty." No, Quali says. Force him to become a Lightkeeper like you do all of the others. Naomi was silent for a time, thinking it over. I assume you are speaking of Lupin. That was the original plan, was it not? That's why my assignment was rushed. You mistake my position here for something it is not, Naomi says. She had never been in charge of Lightkeepers. Kuali just scoffs. Naomi speaks aloud. I am in charge of things, not people. The book on the shelf found that particularly interesting. I just don't have a good feeling. Your job is to guide them, so see that you do that appropriately, and I foresee nothing aside from the usual threats of this world. I don't trust a single one of them. Naomi laughs. If you make the mistake of trusting anyone in Candela, it will surely be your last. The book felt a new poem forming. Maybe, after all of these years, it would get a chance to unleash it. At this point in the night, after being called to the aviary by Lightkeeper Bezko, being sent on assignment investigating the mysterious apartment in which a woman still hung suspended in air, consciousness gone, stars in her eyes, and a mysterious note on the wall. I am nobody. Who are you? It's the early hours of the morning. The streets would be silent except for the buzzing inherent to Upper Soffit. Bar pamphlet in hand, you cross the precarious walkways that run through this area and descend down equally precarious steps, shoes ringing, voices loud, but not traveling far in the smoky air. Lower Soffit is a little more hospitable. Less pollution, less noise. That only means the night closes in around you. Few street lamps are still lit at this hour. Barely a light in any windows you pass. Many of you, used to the darkness of night, can't shake the scene you just left. The shadows seem deeper, bigger, menacing. A place that Calahan has known from childhood suddenly seems like one of Oz's movie sets. The buildings tall and thin, angling toward the street as if threatening to collapse or threatening to consume. Doors like maws, windows like eyes, eaves and pipes, arms reaching out to tear and grasp. A burning in your chest, Crysalis. Hot and deep, as if it's an actual flame working itself toward your heart. There is something about this that she doesn't like. But Sebastian is as quiet as the night.
I think Crysalis follows the louder members of the group and kind of has that stroll as someone who grew up with a little bit of money, so they've never had to be on time for anything. But mostly thoughts are very focused on, do I recall anything like this before? From other cases, from other time, especially the just elevated in the center of a room type of vibe. That would be where my thoughts are while listening to them talk the way they do.
I think Adelaide has never met a silence she didn't want to fill. So I think as we're kind of walking into this bar, she's just like making the world's most inane small talk given the situation. Like, instead of like talking about the crazy shit they just saw, she's just like, what do you think the drinks they serve at this bar will be like? I've never actually been drinking in this part of town. Do they have any interesting cocktails?
You know, as long as it's strong, I'm not really fussed. What flavour?
Have any of us been to this bar before?
I think that depending on Calahan's leanings into alcohol at all, possibly. he has. It is called the Margin Pub. It is one of the most popular bars in this part of New Fair. It's a host to plenty of travelers, plenty of visitors, and has a little secret backroom library that holds some books that have been taken out of circulation.
Guys, it'll be a good time. I will say I haven't tried much of their alcohol on account of probably should have the right sense of mind when you do a job like mine. But I've had many people mention the pub before, and they tell me that it's got great drinks, although I don't know if it'll be to your standard.
Maybe. I'm also realizing there's probably a new... I'd love to give out little copies of my gossip column. I don't think any of these people have read it yet. It's a new audience for me.
Yeah, that's, you should do that.
You know, Adelaide, I'd take one of those.
Oh, of course. And she has this, like, little purse she carries around with, like, little, like, clippings from the newspaper. That's, like, just her gossip column that she's like, here's the latest.
Az takes it and, like, acts like he's gonna put it away, but kind of just turns and starts reading.
Calahan definitely is, like, over your shoulder, but he maybe can't read as fast or as well as you can, so he's just kind of, like, trying to skim the pictures and the headlines, like, what does it say, though?
You'll get your turn.
Is there currently a specific story in your little news rag?
I think this particular, like, it is a gossip column, so it's a lot of, like, this person was visiting this person they shouldn't have been visiting, and this person wore the same outfit to 2 parties in a row. What does that signal about their finances? And it's, like, awful. It is, like, the kind of thing where it's, like, everyone wants to read this shit, but no one wants to admit that they want to read it because it's so, like, it's a tabloid, basically.
Eventually, Calahan, you see your destination. Warm light streams through the front windows. A green sign hanging off of some decorative ironwork reads in gold letters, "The Margin Pub."
Alright. So, I guess we go in. Now, biggest question before we walk in there. Who's buying?
Who's what?
Who's buying?
Oh,
I'm not
sure.
you'll buy. Okay,
That's fine.
Great. Secondary thing, maybe don't announce that you're buying. But otherwise, we should be fine while we're in there.
Crysalis, isn't there like some sort of company fund for drinks?
Oh, this company never has fun.
Let's head inside.
Been holding the door open for like a minute and a half.
Thank you, Crysalis.
As you enter, a voice calls out, "It's last call, you got time for one."
Yeah, no worries. Just make it a big one, yeah? And, Helene will just kind of pull up on a bar stool, slouch down.
The inside of this pub is warm from a fire that's burning in this fireplace right next to the bar. You walk up these, like, tiers to the top where the bar is and sit down on a stool. And you see behind the bar this woman currently wiping down the bar top, but begins to pour a pint for you as you sit down. Brunette in a loose-fitting maroon blouse that has these large bishop sleeves that kind of trail along with her as she moves.
Excuse me, you wouldn't happen to know a Connor?
I mean, I know a few.
Related to a Safina?
Upon the mention of that name, a shadow flits across her face. It becomes expressionless for a moment, like a glitch or the fuzz at the end of a roll of film, before it's gone, quick as it came. I think I definitely remember that name if I ever heard of it.
Well, what can you tell me about, well, either of them?
Well, I haven't heard of that name. Don't know who that is. But there's a couple Connors. regulars? Friends? What's your inquiring about?
Well, I'd rather like to speak with one.
Just a person named Connor?
Well, no, a specific Connor, but...
Ah. I'm trying to, like, figure out if I'm supposed to be getting something here that I'm not picking up on.
Oh, no, I'm a journalist, see, and I already have my, like, and I'm investigating a story, and I would love to get, some confirmation from a Connor.
I mean, I can, like, send a letter at some point to a guy I know named Connor.
Well, the one with the... And then I'm, like, gonna turn to everyone else. I was like, did all of you hear me?
I think as soon as Adelaide turns away, Helene is going to make a big enough movement to draw the barmaid's attention, pull out a little, like, one of those little tester bottles of strong liquor from one of the many pouches, and just, like, visibly pour it into the pint. And she'll kind of lean forward conspiratorially and be like, long night, huh?
Well, it's coming to the end, but it's been a big one, yeah.
Well, why don't you pour yourself one on me? Well, on her. She's useful for something.
Alright. Don't mind if I do.
And
Brings out
she'll reach out to, like, offer to pour in some of the stronger liquor into it.
She takes it.
Yeah, so, the journalist thing. It's bullshit. The truth is, my brother, always kind of had a thing for Sophia, and he's cut up. He's absolutely cut up that she's not been speaking to him. He can't get through to her. She's a journalist. She really is a journalist, but I thought maybe she'd be able to find something out, but, I think this isn't really the right crowd. It'd be great. It'd be really great if you could tell me anything, because it's breaking my heart to see him like this.
I really wish I could help you. I do. But I don't know anybody named Safina.
At the mention of that name, Oz has kind of been just strolling and looking for any faces that kind of just like pop up or eyes that dart away when certain names are mentioned.
You can make me a survey roll.
Sweet. Or?
As you kind of do this meandering, there's not a lot of people in this bar aside from you right now. It's really late. They're close to closing. There's a few bodies around this space, but the ones that are left seem rather worse for wear. They're not really paying you any heed.
I think while listening to all my companions attempt to convince this bartender, I'm just kind of shaking my head while looking at the fireplace, stuffing a pipe over a drink, and remembering coming here like 30 years ago when I finally got back to New Fair after having to go live with my father for a period of time, and how this was the first place Candela started trying to scout me for those first few years that I was turning them down and just avoiding them as much as I could. And I think I do remember the library, but it's been quite some time. I'm not sure if it's still even in operation, to be honest.
Would we know if there is maybe a code word or a way to indicate that possibly we're here for books or the other side?
Make me a read roll on this individual.
That's a critical failure. That's double ones.
She looks across the eclectic bunch of characters that we have here and kind of sets the drink that she had poured for herself on the bar. You know, I haven't seen most of you around before, and it's late and you're asking for people. You do know that it's not the best look.
I'm going to pull some money out of our company purse, which nobody asked about, and hand her a medium amount with, how about you just forgive us? And if you remember any Connors that cause a little drama, here's our number. While like kind of staring at Calahan.
She takes what was offered. I want you to make me a sway roll with an extra d6.
Deal. I already get 2.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
That's 2 6s and a 3.
I don't know any Safina, okay? I know of a Connor that it could be who you're talking about since you came here specifically, but he just got back from a pretty long trip, so I don't know what he could have gotten into so quickly that there are people looking for him.
To be honest, I don't even know any of these people. They were searching for a bundle of Connors. Any Connor would do, it seemed. So I directed them here. I knew this place was filthy with Connors a few years ago. But I'm mimicking her tired body language, more at this time trying to de-escalate and maybe try again later, versus poking her till she's mad.
I don't know if that's helpful to you, but that's all I
it's
got.
Fine. They don't pay you enough to put up with us. I get that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, we could come ask again, and if there's any Connors in the room, you could point the dozen or so out to us.
Alright, come tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the evening.
7 on
We
the
might have more luck.
Yeah, I'll also pay for our drinks. I'll set whatever the amount we need is on the bar.
I would say that if you're looking for somebody specific, it might be helpful to know their full name.
No, I know.
Agreed.
I mean, they're paying me per hour, so I didn't ask too many questions. But we'll be back tomorrow. If you find any Connors, keep them in here for us.
Oh, the Connor who was traveling. What is his full name so we can know?
I slide another coin.
I think it's Blake. I don't know him very well.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Of the Blake family.
If that's his last name, then I assume his family also has that name.
You should be a detective.
It probably would pay better.
I think I'll look at the rest of the party, Calahan, Oz, and Helen, and just see if anyone else wants to kind of step in. Sort of like mentory stepping in, then backing out again. Letting them take whatever they want to do at the situation.
Helene's continued throughout all of this to act for some, as if she's not with them, although she clearly is, and has just been drinking her drink, and kind of giving looks to this barmaid. She is trying to position herself as the normal one in this situation, and she is actually going to stay until such a time as the others withdraw and stay a little bit after.
Oh, I'll leave first.
Oz sees Crysalis sort of waiting and says, fuck it, he's going to go out on a limb, and goes up to the bartender.
By the way, sorry, it was rude of us not to introduce ourselves. My name is Nobody. Who are you?
It's a odd name. Puts a hand out, shakes. Gina.
Nice to meet you, Gina.
And Oz will adjust his hat like that was a failure and start walking towards the door.
You say that line, and you feel tickle just at the top of your spine. And you feel like somebody's watching you.
I dart my eyes towards Sebastian.
Sebastian is not making any move that he has detected anything.
Well, I'm going to get him home. I'm just going to turn and walk out and leave them all to learn.
I think Oz will go out the front. And then just immediately duck and start looking inside, just darting around to every face, seeing who was watching the exit.
Adelaide will also leave, following Crysalis and Oz, and then pull them both over and goes, Crysalis, Ozzy darling, I have a theory. Okay, so when I said Safina, this Gina, that was her name, got the most horrible expression on her face. It was so strange. And she did genuinely not seem to know who she was later. So I'm wondering, does anyone know Safina? It just seemed strange. It was like, I don't know, I got that Candela weirdness is going on kind of instinct, you know? Just wanted to say my thoughts.
Well, if we have to be back here tomorrow evening for more information, we could always, hand out some flyers, missing person, the situation. Or put out that we have an inheritance for someone and then maybe they'll find us. But I don't know. I have a feeling maybe Calahan might get down to the root of this tonight.
Something in there.
Well, I can make things in my press if we need, so we're...
Yeah.
Got a little mini one.
If you ever needed an interview as well, I mean... Besides the point, there is something in there that knows more about Connor and Safina than they're letting on. I think we all know that. But, I don't know. Sometimes I just get a little gut feeling about things, Sort of like Sebastian at times. And I definitely felt it in there.
The city's nervous. You can't poke too hard or it pokes back. You have to let stories unfold, let the clues fall as they may, or else you'll end up in jail or dead.
Oz writes that down as if it's like a dialogue for later for one of his films.
Well, I do rather like to poke, but I suppose I'll be careful.
Some people are better at poking than others. Have at it if you feel secure about that. I need to get Sebastian home.
Well, now I don't, but...
It's far past their nest time. I'm going to walk down the street with my pipe whistling. If they want the company to walk, they're welcome. But Crysalis isn't too concerned about the invite.
Back inside the pub, Helene is still sitting at the bar.
Look, Gina, I am sorry about that. My brother wanted me to help with this girl and mentioned she was talking about Connor and then she's ignoring me. Maybe she just left me for this Connor and... I don't know, you got any siblings? You just feel responsible for them sometimes?
I can relate to that, yeah.
Yeah, so I knew this posh journalist girl. I said, any good investigators? And then she shows up with these clowns. I don't know. Embarrassing. But I appreciate you helping us out. We'll come back tomorrow. She kind of starts to finish her glass, and she's been sort of fiddling with some of her divination cards. And she's like, I'm shit at this. I've been trying to learn. Do you want a reading? I could practice with you. Make up for the awkwardness.
I don't really buy into it all, but for the entertainment's sake, why not?
Okay, great. Okay, here, you shuffle them.
Okay. She takes the cards and she shuffles through them. That's enough?
Yeah, that's great. Hey, you're good at that. She's gonna make sure to brush her fingers slightly when she takes them back. Okay, and then I just, I flip down these three. But I'd like to just try and sense if there's anything that I can tell. I saw that weird thing with her face, and I want to see if I can use these divination tools of mine to sense anything about if something's been done to her.
Of course. Roll me the sense roll.
Okay, I got a 5 and a 3. So 5.
As you're flipping through the cards, the light in the room begins to darken, and the space grows quiet. And then there is a metal thud as what seemed to be iron bars slide down across all of the windows until the fire in the fireplace goes out. Gina disappears, and in this room are these blue ghostly apparitions starting to surround you on every side, slowly creeping up, stealing your warmth and your heat.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll put them away. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to, alright? I didn't mean it. Just let me go.
And they all swarm and surround, and you can feel your skin grow cold all deep down to your bones. And I need you to take a body mark. And you feel their hands like they are physical beings, gripping onto you and pulling and twisting. And then there's a snap in front of your face. And you blink out, and Gina's like, "Hey, you okay? What happened?"
No, you don't. I am so sorry. That was
bad. I guess my future doesn't look great.
No. You know, I've been trying to work on the showmanship thing. Maybe I overdid it. It looks, you know, you've got the doorway here, shows new opportunities, and you have the rose. So maybe that says something about what the opportunities are, huh? You know, it's late. I should. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to freak you out. I was just trying something.
All good.
So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. But I know Weirdo gave you a contact number, but my name's Lena. If you ever wanted to hang out for non-Connor hunting related reasons.
Non-Connor hunting, yeah. Maybe I'll take you up on that.
Great. And she'll give the location of where her not where her business is, but where she stays in the market area. But yeah, it was great to meet you. Sorry to end your shift on such a weird note.
It happens all the time.
I'll see if I can convince her to be more normal tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway, bye for now. And as soon as she's out the door, Helene's like, she's not even going to look around to see if the others are there. She is going to draw all of these scarves around her and try and restore some warmth. She doesn't like the cold, and she doesn't like being grabbed. I mean, nobody does. But she really, really does not like thinking at any moment that she can't fly away from any situation. And so she is going to put her head down and she is going to pound the pavement back to where she belongs, where she sleeps, and she can be away from this for the rest of the night.
I think Adelaide turns to Oz and is like, "It seems like people are headed back. I think we're vaguely in the same direction if you'd like to walk with me." Although Calahan's still in there?
That's really the reason I'm sticking around, just to make sure that Calahan doesn't get into too much trouble. But also,
that's probably wise.
Perhaps, Adelaide, it's better for us to just see the lockup, just in case. What's one more hour?
Sure. I've got nowhere to be.
The best scoop always comes after dark.
So true. Oz, have you ever thought about going into journalism?
I have. I actually... Yes, I have. From time to time, I've thought about doing sort of slice-of-life pieces with my filmmaking.
You know, we need photographers, and you're so good with the camera.
Photography and film, it's very different.
Wonderful.
Oh, right,
wonderful.
Sure. That meant yes.
Oh, okay, great. Also, you know, I think I offered this before, but I'll make it more clear. If you ever want, you know, a piece on one of your pieces, you let me know. I'll talk to people. I'll get you some eyes. It'll be great.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I don't know if you ever heard, but I am working on a new spectacle coming soon. Blowing up buildings. We'll see how that works out.
Oh, my, that does sound exciting. Do you have a building in mind to blow up?
Oh, any will do. No, I have no idea. I'm very clueless about the next step, but I think I need to talk to someone who knows, like, infrastructure. I'm unsure.
Do you know Nigel? And I'm just like gonna write down info for like some contractor I worked with once 3 years ago who probably does not remember me. And I'm like, he works in construction. Maybe you can speak with him. And I'm just like trying to network.
Nigel, right? Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. And I'm like gonna peer back into the bar to see if Calahan is doing anything.
Yes, what is Calahan doing inside the Margin pub? You saw Helene storm out very quickly.
Yes. So he was sort of I imagine, probably in the section where Crysalis was sitting towards the fire and stuff, sort of getting a preview on everyone. Especially after he got, like, stared down, sort of reprimanded. So he was kind of in the corner. But since he's somewhat been here before every now and then, I think as things are occurring, I'd like to scope the bar out while I'm sitting in there and she is talking with Helene, and see if there is any obvious or per-viewed, like, back entrance or windows or things like that.
Okay, roll me a survey.
Got you. I'm gonna spend a drive. That's a 5 on the Gilded, so it comes right back.
As you scan, you see the obvious entrances in the main bar, so the front door and the windows that line the walls. You know that there's a back hallway to bathrooms and that there's an employee door back there as well. You also know that there is the entrance to the library portion of the bar. And there is an entrance on the outside of the building to get you directly to the library instead of coming through the bar.
Okay. Then I think after Helene has stormed out and maybe the bartender is probably very confused, but also somewhat intrigued, I will probably, after a few minutes, leave as well, assuming the bar is going to close up. And if I'm stopped, that's cool, but if not, I plan to wait until she leaves and then try and get into that library.
When you go out the front door, you see that Oz and Adelaide are still there as well.
Oh, hi guys.
Ah, Calahan, are you headed home?
Yeah, I mean, the home's the aviary, so that's kind of where I'm headed.
Of course.
Right. Well, maybe then it is best to call it.
Sure. Just while we're here, I just wanted to say, you two are both so darling. You're so wonderful, both of you. And, Crysalis is interesting and, well, Helene is a little dreadful, but you two
Helene
are both so wonderful. And
has amazing qualities. Probably, maybe next to Crysalis, the most resourceful of the group.
Yes, but to what end does she use those resources? Anyways, I just wanted to say a lovely evening to you both.
To you too.
To you too. Yes. Adelaide. Per photo, what's the pay?
Just start walking towards the aviary.
And I'll yell a number. I don't know, but it's pretty good. It's
I was like, takes off his hat and wipes away sweat that immediately started going, that's a lot.
You part ways. Calahan kind of circling back around afterwards, and you can watch from across the street as Gina forces the last couple people who had a little bit too much out the front door. The lights turn off, and she comes out, back to you, locks the door, and kind of shoves her hands in her pockets and walks down the street.
So I'm going off the assumption that because I critically failed my read, I probably did not grasp the maybe slight recognition.
I would say that you missed that phenomena.
Okay, then I'm going straight for the building. I'm gonna go straight for the door that goes into the library and see if I can get in without tripping any alarms or anything like that.
Okay. You go around to the back, and there is a pretty nondescript door on the building that you can try, but when you jiggle the handle, it's locked.
Okay. Can I claim lockpicking tools while we're here?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you roll a control.
That's a 5.
You get the lockpicking tools in and fiddle around, but you realize that what happened while you were doing it is that you broke the actual lock, and so the door is unlocked now, but somebody's going to know what happened, and you won't be able to lock it on your way out.
I want to scan for any sort of, like, detection gear before I walk in that door and set anything off.
Yeah, make me a survey.
Critical success, 2 6s.
As you scan the area, it doesn't look that there is any traps or alarms that would alert somebody to an entrance.
Excellent. Okay, then I head right in.
You go in, and you're like immediately met with a set of short stairs that lead down into what you know is the library of the bar. You take the steps down there. It's all dark. All the lights are off, and there are like 2 double swinging doors that you can push through to get into the actual place that hosts the books.
And there's nothing else really in this section at all. Just kind of doors.
Yeah, it is a makeshift library, though it's actually like pretty nice. It matches the decor of the pub upstairs. There aren't like shelves upon shelves of books here, but there is one pretty packed shelf behind a desk that is kind of like a checkout counter. But the people that come in to do business here aren't necessarily walking in and just like randomly selecting a book. They're coming to find a specific book, or sometimes to give a book to the library's collection.
So he may not be the strongest reader, but he knows how to spell Connor, and he's going to take a decent, I know we don't have computers, but he's going to take a decent stab at different spellings of Seraphina, and any way that the bartender or whoever keeps the books would normally go searching for a specific one. He's going to try, essentially spend the night, since he has nowhere to be and nothing to do, until the bar reopens, trying to see if he can find anything that is related to Seraphina or Connor. Or, like, galaxy floated, like something that would relate to what they saw at the event with the floating body and the galaxy and the I am nobody, that jazz.
We're gonna have you make a focus roll.
I got you. Okay. Alright, we're gonna spend that drive we just got back. 5.
The name Connor and the name Seraphina don't appear in your investigation. There is a interesting find, though, that doesn't necessarily seem to be maybe directly correlated to the case that you're working on right now, but there is a book, and you don't know how it got here, but that details another Candela case. It details an investigation outside of New Fair in a place called the Diamond Plains.
Can I ask why it stands out to me, if it doesn't feel directly?
Because information about Candela is not something that is readily available to the public. So the fact that someone wrote a book detailing the insides of investigation, and it got, number one, the fact that any of that was written down, but the fact that it got out of the Fourth Pharos, like, this book should not exist.
Do I see an author?
No.
Do I see any
There
names?
is no title or author written on the book. It's like a leather-bound...
like a journal.
Journal, almost.
And there's no names in the journal that I would know.
Yeah, I mean, you do recognize the last name Skinner.
Okay. Alright. If that's all I find, pocket it. I leave. I don't make any attempt to hide the fact that I broke in, took something, have no intent on fixing the door or the lock, and I just head straight. I head straight back to the aviary, but definitely keeping purview to make sure nobody is following me, like saw me enter and exit then and there. And also I want to make sure I do not come across Adelaide and Oz, since they were sort of headed in that same direction, or anyone.
Okay. I would say that, like, by the point that you leave, you can be fairly certain that they're not around anymore. But actually, by the time that you leave, there are people out on the street starting to unlight the lamps for the day, and the very early morning workers are kind of up and about at this time, and the sky's beginning to lighten as you head back to the aviary. Some hours pass. You rest, relax, have your night sleep in the morning. Did Adelaide and Oz go back to the aviary, or did they go back to their homes?
I went back home.
I think Oz was talking to Adelaide for a long time and then turned around and realized Adelaide was nowhere to be found, and then just continued on to the aviary.
Oz and Calahan both wake up as the sun kind of comes through the high windows in the aviary. You open your eyes and you see a figure silhouetted by the light that is coming in. And she says, well, I didn't really want to have to wait here all day, so I'm glad you're awake at, past noon, but...
It's, what time?
It's midway through the day.
What do you need help with?
And she steps kind of forward out of the light, and you see Lightkeeper, Bezko. I don't necessarily need help with anything. I'm here to see what you guys all found last night, but it doesn't seem that everybody's together.
Oh,
well,
yes.
If it's any consolation, we didn't find much.
That's not what I was hoping to hear.
But we found enough to keep going.
Are you going to enlighten me, or am I going to have to pull it out of you?
Right. Yes. Sorry.
I stuck my finger in an eyeball. And it was cold. And now it's blue. A little bit. If you look closely, you get a little blue.
I see.
That did happen. Yes. Crysalis is probably around here somewhere if you'd like to get the details. No? Right, so...
I'm certain that it's only the two of you right now.
Where did
And the
everyone
birds.
go last night?
Well, they probably went home. Normal people have homes.
We're normal people. Anyways, yeah, so here's the lowdown. Blah, blah, blah. Galactic eyes. And lots of Connors. Too many to count.
That's true. Too many Connors.
I-
And what's her name? Do you remember her name?
Who?
There was a lady. I
Gina.
think there was a lady. There was two ladies, actually. No, not the bar lady. The bar lady was mean. But there's a lady in a card. We got a name of a lady.
Safina.
Yeah!
I haven't worked with many circles. I've worked with one or two prior, and I do have to say that somehow you managed to say a lot of words and give me no information.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, normally I fancy a yak right when I wake up, so my brain isn't on par right now.
I think what is going to be best is I'm going to walk back down the stairs, wait for a few minutes, and then I'm going to come up like this never happened.
Okay.
And we're going to try again.
Okay, got it.
Sure.
Okay. And Oz,
Yes?
can you come with me? Okay.
Sure.
Can I be watching from the rafters? Like I showed up like 20 minutes before and I just have a whole folder with a summary of the events, just watching them while smoking my morning pipe.
You follow her down the stairwell, back into where the large, like, sanctuary church part of this space is, and she pulls you around the stairs into a side room. And
As we walk down, Oz is looking for any, like, glasses or cups with any sort of, like, cognac, like, alcohol just, like, left in it, just, like, trying to get some, like, a little hair of the dog in the morning.
Okay, I think that you probably have, since this is your chapter house, moved in a bar cart at some moment, and probably it's been sitting out in the air for a couple days, but like the dregs of cognac at the bottom of a glass.
Yeah, just a little shoot it down and then try to not let her notice and keep going.
As she pulls you around, she kind of turns very seriously towards you and says, completely out of the blue, "How often do you visit Greyslate?"
I try not to at all. I feel obligated to maybe one visit a year.
I don't believe in coincidences, Oz. There have been a series of similar events to those of last night, all confined within the walls of Greyslate. And this morning, I received a missive that a patient inside had some sort of miraculous change. Not recovery, but a shift.
A shift in what direction, Lightkeeper?
Lucidity.
And did you pay a visit before coming here?
I needed to see it for myself.
And your findings?
She's asking for you.
And in your professional opinion? She is stable?
In a sense. I don't know if there will be another shift.
Lightkeeper. There haven't been any signs of thinnings near Greyslate, has there?
No. I am under the impression that whatever happened on that case, whatever led them to that place, that your mother inadvertently brought something back with her, and that it has now escaped.
I see. Well, this, the search for the Connors seems very, fruitful. Perhaps Greyslate is just some happenstance. But I understand. I will inform the team.
I apologize. I thought this would be information you would want to know.
There have been moments of hope throughout this whole thing. I have... it's come to a point where it doesn't really matter anymore.
I don't know why Alison Suarez is being kept in isolation in the Fourth Pharos under the watchful eye of Candela, and your mother ended up in Greyslate. I don't know how or why that happened, but when they found her and brought her home, their bleed detection test did not pick up on anything. or at least not much of consequence, outside of usual Candela operative levels. Her altered state was assumed to be from isolation or loss, rather than from phenomena. But with this change of events, I do not like that whatever this is may have a way to conceal itself from our detection. It requires more care.
Well, seems like we need to get to it then.
It would be best that you did.
Thank you, Lightkeeper, for the information. I'm sure Calahan can fill you in on the Galaxy Eyes and Connor expedition.
I will leave you be then. And she passes you out of the room.
Oz will return to the bar cart and wait to see if any other members arrive, and if he has to wait more than an hour, then he'll probably start heading over.
Upon awaking the next day, do our two friends who are not at the aviary currently make their way there, or do they have other business to attend?
Yeah, Helene is going to wake up, and she slept with all the duvets and blankets she could find on top of her, and she is still shivering. She really doesn't know what else to do, so she heads in. When she arrives, she always wears a lot of scarves. It's a weird fashion statement she has, but she seems to have more than usual, and over the top of it, she's pulled this very out of fashion, like it's an old fur coat, or if not real fur, an excellent facsimile, a high quality coat. It looks warm and toasty, but she doesn't. There's it's a little bit raggedy along the bottoms. There's some loose seams. It looks like someone spilled nail polish on it once, and she's just tried to be covered up. It's not in the best condition, but it clearly looks like it was expensive when it was new. And she's going to come in and just kind of head over to that bar cart and find some whiskey to shoot down, see if that'll warm her up if nothing else was.
It does a little. It does. That immediate burst down your throat and into your stomach.
Oz?
Morning.
That bar's fucked up, Oz. We can't go back there.
No?
It's full of... Look, after you guys left, I stayed to talk to that girl a bit longer. Alright? And it's full of ghosts. It's full of fucking ghosts.
Like real ones? Like real ones?
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you about this. They came right at me. I was just chatting, I was playing with my cards, and suddenly there was ghosts all around me. Fucking actual ghosts. Now that's never a good thing, really, is it? Ghosts.
No, it's a terrible thing. Are you alright?
The murderous, horrible creature. I mean, I'm alive, I guess. It was fucking horrifying. And Sebastian wasn't singing. Nothing. My cards looked normal. There was no sign that anything was wrong, and then suddenly ghosts.
Oh, Helene,
Something.
I have horrible news then to tell you. We're going to a place that probably also has ghosts today.
Why? Fuck.
I just would rather be truthful with you about it.
You know, I thought joining this thing would help, but I swear I'm just getting more confused about all this. Do you think Chris knows how to kill ghosts? He knows a lot of stuff.
If anybody does, it would be Chris.
He's always here somewhere. Chris.
No, he's not here. I called out
Chris.
for him.
Good morning.
What?
Oh.
What? When did you arrive?
Do you know how to kill a ghost?
No.
Listen, that bar last night's full of ghosts.
I want to read on that.
Make a read roll against Crysalis.
It's a 5 on the Gilded.
I'd say his nitpickiness is over the word kill, but I think Crysalis is also very distracted. He's trying to be his normal role, like guide the party, be a little aloof, but even up there, he lost track of what all of them were talking about. His thoughts are just elsewhere. Feels like the same questions, the same beat, the same danger. So he's just like kind of lost in thinking about his night once he got home back to the Sparrows.
The House of Sparrows.
The House of Sparrows. And how sleepy he is, and just enjoying kind of watching them interact and getting a little bit of a hoot out of it until, of course, Helen realizes he's probably there somewhere.
She's like gonna lean in really close and like clearly Oz can still hear, but she's going to like make a thing of being conspiratorial. She's gonna be like, Chris, I know you have some kind of proclivities towards this fucked up undead shit. But I'm telling you, they were dangerous ghosts in that bar, and I don't know if it's the bar or if it's Gina or something else, but something set them on me last night, and we gotta know how to protect ourselves if that happens again.
And you're sure it wasn't you?
Me?
Yeah, like, are you haunted?
I mean, I feel pretty fucking haunted, yeah, mate. That's why I want to know what to do.
We could try to do what you did in the bar again right here and see if the same ghosts show up, and then we would know if you're the factor or if the bar was.
Oh, like science, right? All right, okay, yeah.
Start making
do I
a
have to
circle
do
of
like?
salt.
Do I have to do the voice and everything as well, or?
I'm pretty sure.
Calahan runs over, like, can you do it to me? I've always wanted to see what the cards read. I think that'd be cool.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Let me set up my
Yeah,
camera.
all right.
What has Adelaide been up to this morning?
I think Adelaide, she lives in a kind of a busy household, got awoken at like 9 instead of noon, has been up, calling people, writing up a little bit of gossip. Before she got summoned by Candela last night, she was at a party, so she's writing up some drafts. She, kisses her kids on the forehead before immediately rushing them to the nanny, gives a little wave to Rupert, dresses up in a new outfit, like, has a whole morning routine that she's been going through, and then she, like, you can, I think, as this is happening, you hear like the sounds of a car in the like driveway-esque, so like in the street, and that's Adelaide arriving.
You come up into the aviary to find Helene starting to put together a reading for Calahan. And as soon as you walk up the stairs, you hit the top, and the lark bird twitters and flies across the room, alighting on your shoulder.
Hello. I leave the bird, kind of forget about the bird, turn to the scene that's going on, and I'm like, oh, Helene is doing this, I see.
Don't worry, sweetheart. I won't do it on you.
No, I know you won't.
I weren't paid enough last time anyway. Right, yes. So, you just need to shuffle the cards.
And he takes the cards from you, and he, I'm assuming it's back side up and not front side up. So he just kind of looks at the cards, and he goes, and chucks them into the air.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a recreation of what happened. So is that gonna? Does that ruin your experiment?
Oh, did I have to do? Oh, was I supposed to do impersonator? Can we do it again? I could try. I didn't realize I can do it again. I just thought shuffle.
Chris, I'm starting to think you're just having me on.
Maybe Calahan's the wild factor that we shouldn't have added since they weren't part of the reading last night.
Well, I was there. I mean, I saw it. I can impersonate the
I'll do it
if you want me to. I just...
Quali steps forward.
Of course, Doctor.
If that is okay with you, Helene.
Of course, just bear in mind, I wasn't doing... I wasn't doing a proper reading. I was trying to trick her, which obviously I never usually do. So I was having a bit of a rapport going. I'm actually I'm really shit with these, but I could have a go. Can I practice with you?
By all means.
Okay, so just take the cards, shuffle them.
She very lithely, with long thin fingers, shuffles, hands them back.
Oh, you're good at that. And then so I'm going to draw 3 cards, and that will tell your fortune. And she'll flip over the top 3.
You flip over the cards, and they are the exact same 3 you drew the night before.
I have Sebastian out, by the way.
The birds in the aviary, not Sebastian, but the other birds, begin to chirp and get loud, and their wings fluttering as they go about. And the sun seems to be pulled from the sky as darkness descends upon the aviary. Metal bars.
It's happening again. Can
trapping
you see
you
this?
in.
Can you see this? Tell me you can see it.
No one else in the room sees any change except for Helene.
No, Chris, you have to tell me what to do. You have to tell me what to do.
It appears it is Helene.
How do I get rid of them? They just went last time, and they're gonna go.
Calahan, split the cards again.
Okay, and I just, throw them.
The bars release. The light comes back to the room.
Don't tell me you're all believing this crap.
For a moment, Crysalis mimics gentleness to comfort Helen. He remembers seeing it once.
If Crysalis goes for like an empathetic touch, Helene is gonna jerk right back. Sorry,
I'll jerk back as well. You're right.
Sebastian starts to chirp a bit.
Does Sebastian react to Helen or the cards, if held closer to each?
It's the same for both.
I didn't. They're not. They're just props. Adelaide, they're not meant to do that.
Look at Helen a little differently now. I'd like to read them. Is their panic sincere? Is what I'm kind of looking at. I have 2 in read. I'm going to use a drive for a 3rd. 654.
It is beyond clear to you that Helen is truly panicking.
Oz brings over a drink.
Have you ever considered that it has nothing to do with the cards?
What do you mean?
Well, as you said, right? They're a prop. Maybe you have latent skills in being an actual medium.
Wouldn't that be a laugh?
I'll hand Dr. Bezko the file from last night while we're just kind of looking at Helen.
She takes it from you and begins to flip through it.
I pour a double for Helen.
I'm picking up the cards.
Helene's just pounding it. I know that there's some things I can do that shouldn't be possible, alright? I know when I touched that girl last night, I saw things. I know there's things that can happen, but I'm meant to make them happen. They're not supposed to happen to me, alright? That's different, and that's not alright, alright? You're like the spooky Candela person. You're meant to know how to make this stop. Why is it?
You can contain ghosts.
Finally, someone's useful. How? What do I do?
But are you sure they're real?
Thought you were on my side. You sound like fucking Adelaide.
I simply mean, are the ghosts actual ghosts?
Well, they're like cold, spooky, transparent things that don't make any noise and other people can't see, and they grab me. What's that if it's not a ghost?
Well, Chris has seen a ghost, so logic would say that he would be able to see these ghosts. But they don't seem to be here.
One can be grabbed by many things. Fear, anxiety, residue guilt.
You think my cards are haunted by guilt?
Maybe you're haunted by guilt, but you hold on to cards. I'm not sure. You're holding all the cards here, Helen.
Actually, Calahan's got them. I'll take them back.
Can I try and pocket one?
Yeah, make me,
Nice.
Make me a control roll.
Thank God, I thought you were gonna say hide.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm thinking of finesse,
Shit.
but, I mean, hide is sleight of hand, so I think you've unfortunately changed my mind for your detriment.
May I give them a drive? Burn one for them to get an extra die.
Yes.
That's a 3.
Calahan passes you the cards back. You watch as they try to flip one out of the deck, and it just falls face up on the floor.
I'll have that one too.
The card is completely obscured with black ink covering what used to be there.
If the deck isn't what's magical, I can get you a new deck.
Yeah, I guess a new deck would be alright. I mean, I painted a lot of these myself. So, I know when something's wrong with them. I think all of us can tell there's something wrong with them now.
I'm going to scope Helen, Calahan, and Dr. Bezko's fingers to see if they're ink stained.
I think that's easy enough, them just being kind of out and about here without a roll, and they do not have ink on their fingers.
Can I keep the deck if I get you a new one?
No.
Can I keep the card I tried to take?
No.
Shit. Fair enough.
And Helen's gonna put them away. And be like, listen. If it is these cards, maybe it's me. I don't want it happening to you, alright, Crow?
I kind of want it happening to me.
If it is you, I would hate to ask this, but perhaps today would be a good day to find out. And I might have just the place to do it.
Yes, I mean, that's sort of a good segue. As concerned as we all are for Helene's well-being, what does this have to do with the case?
Helen, did the ghosts harm you in any way?
One of them touched me, and I haven't.
And I
felt
know
right
you don't
since.
like being touched. Was this touch an attack?
I don't like being touched by ghosts, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Or those who are a little bit too touched by him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was cold. All right, I've been cold ever since. It's cold.
I think that would track in my mind with previous cases and things of that sort. And probably lock eyes with the doctor for a moment. I'm wondering if we should have had you use your cards last night with our floating friend.
I mean, I took him out. It showed me that I should touch it.
Was it cold when you touched it?
Yes, it was, yes.
I started updating my file that I handed to the doctor. It was cold.
The Lightkeeper looks up at you and you say that. So, this isn't always how this goes for you.
I sometimes the cards tell me things, especially I thought if I was near bleed, it just made them
but
go
the
a bit
ghosts,
weird.
I mean,
what do you mean?
those are new.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I can tell things. I can see things, memories or something, but I've never seen ghosts.
And you
Not before now.
touched a rather large source of bleed last night.
Oh, so that might have, activated the ghost thing?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not really like me to just run in and touch stuff. That's more of a Crow move. I just, the cards said it and I trusted them, and clearly that was stupid. I should know better than to trust this bullshit.
Could I see your cards, Helen, while you're all speaking?
Yeah, just give them back.
I'm gonna mimic Helen and give myself a reading with them, just on a little, back coffee table right behind them while they're all chatting.
How much does Chris kind of know about reading cards and tarot and
I'd
that
say
sort of thing?
as a magician, he's very comfortable with any sort of non-magical card tricks,
Okay.
as far as hiding them, drawing, cold reading. He's seen it happen enough times. He knows the motions, whether or not he believes the power's always there.
You shuffle the cards, you pull out 3, and they look to be the same neat, clean cards that Helene made.
If I
They
kind of
aren't
flip
the
through
same
them,
3 that she pulled.
if I sort of flip through them, are there multiple that are covered in ink, or was it that
It
one?
was just that one.
Helen, which one is this? What suit is missing? A card.
It's the child. Sometimes I call it the orphan. Depends on the person I'm reading for.
And did you do this?
No, it's an illustration of a small person in an empty space. Now it's just...
And does it look like they're painted with ink, or it was dipped in ink, or...
It looks like ink was dripped on it, and then just kind of continued to drip all down till it was covered.
I'll hand it to the doctor.
She takes it and she looks at it. Odd, certainly. But we all saw it happen. And that was odd as well.
I mean, it happened when Calahan tried to take it. What happens if Calahan tries to take another one?
Another experiment.
I mean, you already told me no to your cards. I don't need to take another if you don't want me to.
Calahan, are you an orphan?
By the technical term of the word, I suppose.
And you were once a child?
Yeah, I believe that's true.
Thank you.
The bird on Adelaide's shoulder has not shut up, and it's now singing a song.
Do I know what the song is?
It's familiar to you. The bird just looks back at you. Chirps a couple more times.
Adelaide does not know what to make of this bird, just staring at it.
Is the song familiar to everyone, or Adelaide?
I think the song is familiar to everyone just because it's... Bird song is different than human music song, and this bird is chirping a popular tune of the day. I do think Adelaide may be correct, though, that while this should obviously be considered and looked into more, right now you are on a case.
Yes, thank you, Lightkeeper.
And I think that you should get to it, as they say.
It appears Mr. Skinner has some sort of insight into today that none of us are fully privy to.
Yes.
Interesting.
The Connor situation, as fruitful as it may turn out to be, we may need to make a stop somewhere along the way at the Asylum Grayslate.
Heavens, why?
Well, the Lightkeeper so graciously told me that a patient there needs investigating.
Part of this case or a new one?
Most likely related. There seems to have been...
Alright.
So this patient's related,
Okay.
is what you're telling us?
Okay.
This patient, well, perhaps now, is or was my mother. And, well, she has been, let's say, in and out of the realms of sanity for quite some time.
And it seems that I don't know. It seems something has changed. And
Does she move through those realms on purpose or accident?
I wish I knew, but I don't believe it's purposeful. If it was, it would mean a whole lot more. But I think that perhaps with this new ghostly phenomena with Helene, perhaps it's good to visit today. It has been about a year anyways. I'm due.
I'll mimic empathy.
I didn't know well, it'll be nice to see her.
I'm gonna hand Oz a drink. Return the gesture.
Everyone's so serious. It's no big deal. It's just my insane mother.
Wander off and clip some of the flowers that grow in the soil cracks of this cathedral to put a little son-to-mother bouquet together for Mr. Skinner.
Give me a moment, would you? And we should maybe gather ourselves and get moving. And Oz will start to make his way out of the aviary and start heading towards a well that is in the neighborhood, sort of this old decrepit well that's surrounded by an overgrown garden. And there's no water in the well, but there is a bucket attached to a rope that he reels up. And inside of the well, inside of the bucket, he will take a handgun and put it in his belt.
Graceslate Sanatorium is a building completely surrounded by a wrought iron fence. The gates creak in the breeze. The bushes at the base of the outer walls brown and dying or perhaps already dead. The lack of care outside just as prevalent as that inside. Clouds move across the sky, sending shadows across the yard and the path and you all as you stride towards the front entrance. Graceslate is a host to many patients. Many of them are OUP officers or civilians that have suffered from too much bleed exposure, but some are also just wealthy citizens trying to hide away relatives that they don't want to be bothered by. It is not a good place, and it's known to be horrific, and those who are sent there rarely ever leave. The front doors stand in front of you, wood and glass, kind of giving you a peek into the entryway of Graceslate. What do you do?
Well, we're here. I guess I'll show you the way.
Having been here many times, I'll still let him show the way.
You push open the door and walk in, and you are met like a reception desk and a nurse sitting behind it. Graceslate is not necessarily a place where a lot of visitors come, but the rare ones that do are escorted. But you know that being a circle of Candela gives you a little bit more freedom in how you pass through these walls.
Here to see Gladys Skinner.
There's some shuffling of papers. And then the nurse kind of looks up. And who's asking?
Oz Skinner.
Makes a little note. And when was your last visit?
Probably coming up on about a year.
Scribbles down another note. And who are the rest of you?
Family friends.
Thank you. I do need names.
Oh, Adelaide Lumley-Fontaine, hello.
Hi.
holding the flowers. My name's Chris Skinner.
Write it down. Thank you.
Of course. So good to hear your voice. In this horrible city, no one has a beautiful accent like us. Where are you from?
Next.
My name's Lena Fletcher.
Thank you. And last but not least.
Crow.
Thank you. You know the way. You got about half an hour.
Great.
I'll pull one flower from the bouquet and set it on the desk.
Why did everyone give fake names? I don't understand.
A lot of people call me Chris,
But not Skinner.
but it is a real name.
I suppose.
How do you know it's not my real name?
5 out of 6 on reading Helen.
Helene doesn't believe in real names, only the names she's currently using. So it may not have been the one that she was given first, but it's the one she's using right now.
As you follow the hallway down away from this room to a stairwell, you go up it through another set of doors that lead you into the actual patient room part of the building. It is a bleak state of a building. No paint, just gray and white all around. You can hear voices coming from different rooms. You can hear some not so savory sounds. You see a few nurses and aides going up and down the hallways, peeking in rooms. And you direct your circle to the room that your mother is in, which she does have private room. That's not something that a lot of patients here are afforded, but she has managed to end up in one of those. And you can kind of see through the window in this metal door, and you see a woman, little over middle-aged, sitting calmly on a bed, looking out a barred window.
Before we open the door, I would love to dust off Oz's shoulders, like kind of put his tie a little tighter if he's wearing one, and give him the bouquet.
Just so you all know, I might go in first, leave the door open a crack, because I know you'll all want to be eavesdropping, and you'll eavesdrop anyways. I have a complicated relationship with my mother. So, don't we all?
Well, give us a signal if you want us to come in at any point.
All right. Never brought her flowers before. I'll push into the room.
Your mother, as you open the door, turns to see who has entered, and upon doing so, her face lights up upon the side of you, and she says, "Oz, I was hoping you'd come."
Can I do an instant read on, like, because I know I've come and there's been time where she's just nonverbal. There are times where she's kind of fine, other times where it seems worse. So 6 on the gilded.
Her eyes are completely clear and back to the normal eyes you remember her peering down at you lovingly with as a child. The madness, the fractal space that took up her eyes after she returned from the Diamond Plains is gone.
Hello, Mother. How are you feeling?
Like I've been gone for a very, very long time.
It has been a long time. Now, Laz will look back to the door. And he'll go and sit next
Come
to
here.
his mother. Yeah. Give her
She
a hug.
Hugs you back, and as she pulls back, she kind of puts a hand on your face and just strokes your cheek with her thumb. I am still getting my bearings, so bear with me.
Me too. It's been so long that I'm having a hard time telling whether this is even real.
She kind of looks around the room. I did hope maybe it wasn't. This place is sad. I never thought I'd find myself in here.
I never thought that I'd stop visiting. Mother, what do you remember?
Your father and I had taken an expedition north. We found clues for some sort of unknown phenomena that we found intriguing. And in the course of finding the location, it gets fuzzy. I know it was a cave. I know there was someone else there for a time. And then I remember wanting to be known.
Wanting to be known.
And that was all I could feel for so long. Until today. Well, the days run together, I guess. Until yesterday.
Well, I'm glad you're back. I can't say that you've come back to fortuitous circumstances, and I wish that I had more to offer you. But I have these flowers.
She smiles softly. Well, we'll see how long they last in a place such as this.
Would you like to meet... Would you like to meet some friends of mine?
What is this? Since when do you speak like that?
Mother, I always speak like this. Come on in.
Immediately coming on in. Hi, Gladys. I don't know if you remember me. Adelaide Lumley-Fontaine.
Oh, this is quite a lot of people. I remember you, Adelaide. It's
wonderful.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
She kind of looks at each as you come in.
Adelaide gestures to other people to introduce themselves.
I'm distracted by remembering when I stayed in this very room and wishing someone had brought me flowers before introducing myself to the lovely Miss or Mrs. Skinner.
Chris, we know each other.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you wanted them to know that.
I don't think it's a secret.
How do you two know each other?
Yeah, how do you two know each other?
Is Sebastian good in this room?
Sebastian has been chirping on and off throughout your kind of foray through the building, and in the middle of this conversation is making a ruckus.
Instead of answering Oz, I think I'll maybe walk back into the hall just to see if Sebastian calms down, being friendly,
Yeah.
trying to be polite. But it's also to avoid Oz and the moment for a moment.
As you come back into the hallway, Sebastian kind of quiets down a little bit more.
I thought so too, my friend. Go back in.
Mother, you know him how?
Chris and I used to work together.
Quite some time ago. Have you met Calahan? He's an up and rising star amongst Candela.
And there's a kind of fear that crosses her face, and she looks to Oz and goes, "You joined."
In a sense. I'm doing what I have to.
Candela is not the place I'd hoped to find my son.
It's not the place I hope to find myself. But, and Oz will sort of lift his head up from his eye. Seeing how the circumstances are what they are, I thought, perhaps, it's time to find some answers.
She reaches out, hand on your face again. That's what it was. How did you happen?
It seems the infliction was not just to you and Father. I don't know how, but it spread like a disease into me. And it's been here since the cold.
She kind of turns back towards the window and says, "Maybe it was a good thing that you didn't visit often."
Helene is lurking as close to the door as she possibly can without looking like she's about to bolt. But she'll smile politely. Hello, nice to meet you.
I'm going to make the assumption that if this is your circle, Oz, that you did not come just to say hello.
I would have. I was just informed this morning of your lucidity. But no, we are not just here for a friendly visit, and frankly, I think we only have about 10 minutes left before the aggravated front desk person comes through and yells at us all.
Helen, get out your cards, if you will.
Are you fucking kidding me? I don't want to bring them here. But she'll do it. She protests, but with very shaky hands, she'll pull them out.
I'm going to stand a little closer to Mrs. or Miss Skinner. Mrs.?
Mrs.
While watching Helen, get the cards out, but also paying very close attention to how loud Sebastian now is that I'm standing near her.
It doesn't seem to have anything to do with her, but the room itself.
Makes sense.
Helene's she's actually going to take a step back so she's standing in the doorframe. Just in case some iron bars were to come down. And she's going to flip that top card in her hand. She's going to try and pass it off if anyone was looking as though she's just fiddling. But she's going to flip the top card and then the second and third and look down at them.
They're distorted from being in this space. They aren't ruined like that one card was, but as your bleed detector, they are detecting.
Okay. She'll sort of glance around. She'll look at the window, which, based on your description, may already have bars on it. And she doesn't like that. And she'll take a little, very sly step so that she's fully out of the room and then glance back down at her cards.
They seem to be clearing up. They're not perfect, but they're clearer.
Yeah, she'll flip through them a few more times and then just kind of put them back again, and just kind of glance at Chris in a kind of, no, I was not attacked by ghosts this time, sort of way.
I'd like to claim another gear piece by getting a bleed containment vial. And since this room is giving such vibes to both of us of bleed, I might kind of take it in my hand and start paying more attention to the walls, the space, while they converse, to see if there is actually bleed I can attempt to gather here.
I'll let you choose. You can do either survey or focus.
Oh, I will be... I'm the same in both. I'll do survey, but I'll also burn a drive. So that'd be 2. That's a 4 and a 1.
I believe if you wanted to, and you have one, you could use a resistance if you want to re-roll.
So instead of a 6, that's a 5.
As you kind of look around the room and start to look more specifically at the space, since that is what you are detecting is the problem here, the walls are white or off-white, a little dirty, so it was super hard to see, but as you get up close, there is writing in that same color that you had seen on the wall of Safina's apartment. And it is scribbled over every inch of this wall.
I think my containment vial resembles a pomegranate that's been smashed and looks like a geode on the inside. So he kind of just is holding it along the wall, and it maybe makes the lettering highlight a little bit so others possibly could notice it. Is this too much bleed to contain in a vial, quote unquote?
I think that you would need multiple to contain all of it, but you could contain some of it.
I will do so.
And as you're doing that, and you see this like almost paint-like substance kind of drip and feed into the geode, Oz's name is written a lot in repetition.
Oz was going to be holding his mother's hand and asking her certain questions about our case. Does the phrase, "I am nobody, who are you," mean anything to you?
It is familiar. There have been things happening here, I think. And that I've seen it. I've seen that somewhere. And she kind of starts rummaging through the very sparse things that she has to her person, and finds a sock. And on the rim of a sock, it is written in just regular ink, it looks like, "I am nobody, who are you?"
Did you write that? Or just find it like that?
It looks like my handwriting.
Both can be true in this place.
Do you happen to know anything about floating bodies and galaxy eyes, or anyone named Connor or Seraphina? Or Safina, that was her name.
There's like a moment where it seems like she's breaking through some wall in her mind that has hidden something away from her. And she says, yes. When we were in that cave, Oz, he didn't come back with me, did he?
We haven't seen him in a long time.
I think what you described happened to my husband. And I was not quick enough to get away. I am uncertain why it didn't happen to me too.
Did you write a journal on your expedition?
My husband was keeping notes of our findings.
Do you have it?
No, they don't really let us keep things here. Did that happen to somebody else?
Yes, we found someone in an apartment building like that.
It's happened here, too, in Grayslate.
Oh. My. Do you know who it happened to?
There's more than one.
Do you know if any other Candela teams were brought in to look at said situations?
Not that I am aware of, but, I haven't had a visitor from Candela, at least as far as I can remember. Outside of Oz, though I didn't know he was a member.
You know they like to be done with us when they can be.
It was a great place for our minds to be put to work. The aftermath is less than to be desired. Have I offered any help to you in this case of yours? I feel like I might not have.
No, of course
A
you
son
have.
being able to see his mother is always a help.
And it's good to know it's maybe connected to your case.
Perhaps, Mother, as well. Is it time to check you out?
I think that is easier said than done.
I'm sure that we can find a way. If not today, then...
Yes, I'm certain I can help with that.
I would very much not like to spend the rest of my life within these four walls.
It's good to see you again.
I'm very glad to see your face, though I'm very concerned of your fates.
Well, we are professionals. There's a lot to catch you up on. But for another time. Next time I'll tell you about the building I'm going to blow up.
That's quite a... maybe I shouldn't know about crimes to be committed.
It's not a crime yet. I wonder, Chris, if there's a possibility to leave some sort of Candela guard or spy to watch over her while we finish this?
Not that I'm aware of. They let us look in here. They don't give us very much sway in here. But while talking to Oz, I think I'll hand her my tobacco pouch, maybe some coin for bribing any nurses, things like that. But I don't know if Crysalis would have another understanding of how this place works, or we could assign a guard at a door.
That would not be something that could happen, but it's also odd to you that no one from Candela has come here at all, apparently. Not that, there would be somebody every day or anything like that, but people are usually taken care of. Like, Candela, not necessarily maybe in the ways they want to be, but Candela doesn't often forget its people, even if that is to save its own butt. Because, angry people means that word can get out about them that they don't want people to know, type of thing. So I think you find that a little odd.
So the Lightkeeper did not visit you?
I mean, Oz, you remember when you visited, I was not always present. So if it was before yesterday, I've forgotten, but no one has seen me aside from nurses or you all.
Or perhaps you did not see them.
There's a possibility of that as well.
Could I do a survey of the room? I feel like it's going to be really difficult, but I want to see if there's somewhere that I could hide and leave my mom this handgun.
Okay. Make me a survey roll.
Crawl under the bed and look at some letters carved into the underneath of the frame from many a year ago, before crawling back out.
That is a 5. Is my highest.
A 5. There isn't anywhere that's not like under the pillow or under the mattress. There's no. There's a drawer. I mean, there's like a small stand with a drawer that you could put it in, but there's no like vent that you can unscrew and like put in or anything like that. It's a pretty open space so that anybody walking in knows what's in the room.
How often is this room searched? I guess you wouldn't know.
They don't necessarily search. There's not easy ways to get your hands on things in here. So there's not necessarily a point.
I think Helene has kind of picked up on what Oz is asking, and she's gonna like shrug off the big fur coat and pull off one of the big pashminas that she's wearing today, and she's gonna say, Mrs. Skinner, you mentioned something about cold. Maybe this will help. And she'll just kind of lay the blanket over the bed a little bit in a kind of rumpled up kind of way.
Oz will sort of catch on and try to just sleight of hand the pistol underneath the blanket and towards his mother's like fingertips, and just said, I won't be able to look after you for just a few more days, but then we can get you out of here.
She like hesitantly holds it and swiftly hides it underneath the blanket, and then glances over at all of the writing on the wall that is now kind of slowly dimming back to being opaque or, invisible in the way this is set up. And she says, I don't know why I wrote all of that. I don't even know what most of it means.
Well, we're going to find out for you.
We'll try to find out.
Could I attempt to read her? With her statement of, I don't want to spend the rest of my life in these walls, and then we gave her a gun. I would also just like to take in that situation to make sure Oz didn't just do a horrible mistake. Okay, 6, 5, and 2.
She's not going to use that gun in any situation, whether she needs to or not. But she has been keeping a very stoic lid on emotions rumbling under the surface for the sake of her son. And she is very scared at seeing his name on that wall.
And tagging along with me probably doesn't help too much either. But I think I'll connect eyes with her, like at the gun handoff, and just kind of share a nod, like that's my checking to make sure And then I'll probably leave the room first and give them the space. But at the bottom of the bed leg, if you look, you'd see a little scratched in, "You are somebody," with a little heart shape from probably decades before that you see Crysalis kind of notice before he goes back out.
I think noticing Crysalis leaving, like, Adelaide gives Oz a little squeeze and then follows.
Helene is kind of, she's kind of staring fixedly at the window. And, she kind of looks down at Mrs. Skinner and will just say, "We'll get you out of here. There's no place for someone in their wrong mind, let alone someone in their right mind. Anyway, it was good to meet you." And she'll follow.
Yeah, Oz will like slowly turn to Calahan.
He's gonna very much be like, "Goodbye," and then just kind of leave.
You know, Mother, I'm a filmmaker now. They do very well.
I'm connecting the dots to the building exploding situation. I understand now. Okay, I would love to see one of your pieces one day.
And I want to do one more read on her before I say the next thing. Just to be 100% sure she is her. That's a 6 and a 5.
You haven't seen your mother in a really long time, and she is honestly before you.
I'll go up and I'll kiss her forehead and whisper into her ear, "I'm going to get them for what they did to you and Dad. I'm going to capture it all."
Be careful. They have things at their will. That doesn't make that easy.
Again, it's good to see you.
As you start to leave and you're near the door, she goes, "Oz!"
Yes?
There's something else. I think I lived with it, or whatever this is. And I think it knows a lot about me.
Stay warm.
I'll try. I'm sorry.
Oz will take one last look at the invisible, now names. His name. I'm the one that should be apologizing. And he'll leave. Without apologizing.
You see that there is a few aides walking towards you as you all come out of this room. And one of them goes, "Oh, all right. We were just coming to tell you about time to head out, we think."
We're on our way.
"We'll see you out then." And kind of circle around you and follow you guys out of Grey Slate and watch the doors shut behind you.
So you knew her?
At one point, yes. We'll probably still do, but it's been a while. I didn't realize it was the same Skinner, to be honest.
Read. Oh, dang. 3.
Chris is a hard one to read a lot of the time.
But I am putting on a face of empathy. But I think also seeing Oz struggling with it, Crysalis would give a little and be like, it was a different time for circles. We didn't go to taverns to ask about Connors. We were facing down forces that had our whole world in peril. The circle your mother and father were a part of was much better than yours, and were given much more dangerous tasks. In time, maybe you will be as well, but There's a lot I don't know about what they were up against.
Did we ever meet?
Professionals, though. Meat's a funny word for the mess you made down my shirt one day. But yes, we met. And you've got your father's eyes.
Aye.
No.
I guess I guess, yeah, you're right. Eyes at this point. Well, does anyone else know my parents? Well, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
but we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
establish that, yeah. Yeah.
Oz, I only know you, and I like you. And I think I like your mother too.
Yeah, when you want to break her out, just let me know, because I'll be here.
I feel like maybe I can talk to someone, once they see that she's, doing all right and I spent a little money, it shouldn't be too hard.
Talking works when it's not Gracelite.
I did pick up
I have a
discharge
feeling
papers
you're gonna
for
need
you,
a
though,
little bit more.
Oh, wonderful.
to start the process.
Fair enough.
I will fill those out immediately. However, I do believe that there's a high chance that she may be in one of the safest places that she can be in right now. I don't know.
I mean, it sounded like there was an awful lot multiple people with the suspending in the eyes.
But why
I don't
would it
know
not
about that.
go for her?
Well, because it's coming for you. Wasn't your name on the wall?
Yes, it was.
Did I? Well,
Perhaps. No, that's a good thing.
well,
It's a good thing.
I mean, it's awfully dangerous, but if it is coming for you, Ozzy, I mean, we'll be more ready, hopefully, than other people.
we could bait it.
We could.
Yeah, I
bait
was
it.
thinking the same thing.
But once we bait it, we need to know what to do with it.
And perhaps a man named Connor could tell us.
That's true. Is it nearing 7 p.m.? We were supposed to go back there.
I will say that you spent a large part of the afternoon with your Lightkeeper and the aviary, running down everything you found and all of that information before coming to Greyslate, and so we are nearing the evening time, the perfect time to head back to South Soffit. As you all walk away backs to Greyslate, a shadow in the city is hunting again. It's been hunting for a long time. And while it had lost its quarry, it has once more found the trail, lurking behind buildings, sniffing out people, one step closer each and every time. And it's never felt such a hunger, such a need, such a want to know as it does now. And it can feel that very soon it's going to know. And that is where we will bring this episode to a close. I would love for us, since we didn't do it at the beginning, to go around and introduce ourselves and, tell our wonderful audience where they can find us. So, Brennan, if you want to start.
My name is Brennan Hershock. I play Oz Skinner. You can find me on socials under Brenny Hirsch. Yeah, just look me up, look around.
Hello, my name is Michelle Kelly. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm an actor, singer, and voice actor, and haunted medium, Helene Sparrow. You can find me at the socials at Michellecopter. I'm always popping up on live streams, so if you want to see more totally nice, perfectly lovely characters who have never done anything wrong played by me, check out my Twitter and Instagram, where I tend to post where I'm going to be next.
Hello, I'm Louisa Blatt. I play Adelaide Lumley-Fontaine. You can find me on Twitter at Louisa Blatt. Post about some projects I'm in, my day job, weird media opinions. Come give me a follow.
I am Rachel Shumacher. I play the little Calahan crow himbo. And you can find me on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, all under my name. I'm a voice actor, and I'm live on YouTube and make a bunch of content, so come find me.
I'm RahRah. I play Crysalis Lupin, he, they, for both of us. I'm RahRah or RahRah Storytime in most places, and I run a little sad sack podcast called The Heart is a Dungeon, where I try to make people cry.
And I am Kenzie Tartaglione. I was your game master for our Candela Obscura show. And you can find me online at ktartaglione8 pretty much everywhere. But thank you all so much for watching. We will have one more part to wrap up this circle's second case. Until next time.